one of the guys that get a lot of the credit is Steve Blackman from Muscular Development. I mean, those guys have done an extraordinary job for years and years and years to promote health, to promote fitness, to promote strength, to promote bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, and all of those kind of things. So the contributions they made is gigantic, and I hail them for that.
Okay, rolling. Ron Harris here from MuscleOlympia.com at the 2022 Arnold Classic Expo with two of the guys who were my earliest inspirations. When I first picked up magazines, it was this guy, Rich Gaspari, the Dragon Slayer, first Arnold Classic champion, and this man, the great Lee Haney, 8-time Mr. Olympia champion. Rich was runner-up to him 3 years in a row?
3 years in a row, yeah.
He tried to kill me, you know.
He called him Rich the Itch, I believe?
Rich the Itch. He never went away. Yeah. Wow.
So I'll start with you, Rich, because this is your show. You won the first one. What's it been like watching this grow from, it was a very, very small show back then compared to this whole sports festival and everything. Has it been crazy seeing the expansion, the evolution of the Arnold Classic?
I mean, it is really amazing to see the growth of the Arnold Classic. I knew Arnold had a vision for this show, and I just got off the Mr. Olympia. It was the 88 Olympia. I came in my third time second to this man. I did the whole Grand Prix tour that I went into 7 shows. I was literally burnt out, but then Arnold personally called me up and said, Rich, I want you to enter this show. It's gonna be the highest prize money that we ever offered in bodybuilding. At that time, it was $55,000. I think they were offering for the Olympia that year, maybe 20 or 30,000.
Yeah, about,
wow.
Yeah.
And so he raised the bar to, increase the Olympia as well the following year. But I went through that show, and it was a great thing for me to enter it. But as you said, it was a much smaller show. All it was a show at the Veterans Memorial, and they had maybe 3 or 4 companies there. It wasn't like this with all these booths, and this is an amazing thing. This has become a sports festival way beyond bodybuilding. So it is amazing to come to the show year after year, and I'm glad it's back. I mean, I was at the year that the pandemic hit, and there was no spectators.
Yeah.
And we sponsored the Arnold Amateur. I was sponsoring that show. No spectators. And to see this come back after, I think it's 2 years, it's great to see, everyone back. Getting to see, guys like Lee Haney that for me, like I always say, changed my life from, I came to California with an aspiration to be the best bodybuilder in the world. And this man here saw me training in a gym, and he goes, this kid, he's gonna train with me, because he saw how much fire I had in my eyes, and this man taught me how to train properly to be who I am today, who I became as one of the greats, legends, they call me now. Absolutely. So I'm very proud of that, and I always call this man my brother, because if it wasn't for Lee, I wouldn't be Rich Gaspari.
Lee, I've often wondered, you won all those Olympias. Why did you never enter the Arnold Classic? Did you just feel like as Mr. Olympia, you should just represent the Olympia every year?
Well, one thing when it comes to training Mr. Olympia, it took so much juice out of you. You're training your butt off the whole year. And then the other thing that kept me busy was guest appearances. I mean, I've done over 30 different countries. I was either in Germany or in Italy or in Japan, all over the place. And then the other thing is, I was a dad with kids. Yeah. So that kept me busy also.
Yeah, now I remember you told me at your first Olympia in Munich, was it, 1983? Right. Mm-hmm. Arnold came up to you because you placed 3rd at your first Olympia?
Right.
And you were a little crestfallen, and he helped you out. He hooked you up with his posing coach and everything. At that time, I think he had co-promoted a couple things with Jim Lorimer, but nothing like this. Did you ever imagine Arnold would put on something like this with 20,000 athletes, 100,000 spectators, something like 30, 40 different sports going?
Well, I mean, who could imagine this? I was thinking earlier, yesterday, the fact that Arnold is the common denominator for all of us being here. Yeah. This is absolutely incredible. I think over 200,000 people from all over the world come here. Yeah. So this is saying a lot about where our sport is now, the growth of it, and the things in which the vision of Arnold and Jim Lorimer have they put that together, and here we are today. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Final question, and this isn't meant to be a downer, but you know, we've had a lot of younger guys, much younger than yourselves, have serious health problems and unfortunately pass away. We have guys like you, Rich, you're 55 now?
58.
58, and Lee, you're 61?
62.
62. You both look great. You're still working out hard all the time. No injuries. I don't know how that happened. You know, is there a message out there for the young bodybuilders of a safer way to do it so they can enjoy this kind of longevity and be around like you guys someday?
You know, Lee said it earlier about how people are getting influenced by social media. There's a lot of like bad information. There's a lot of great information on social media, but there's also a lot of bad information. And some of these influencers that may have great physiques are giving bad advice to these young kids, and they're getting injured. They're giving advice on how to take drugs, and it's not about that. Lee and I are still here, and we have longevity in the sport. That's what we want to show, that we're still around. I'm still training hard.
I know.
I'm careful how I train. And people look at me and say, how do you train like that? I said, listen, I know my body and what I can do to the point where I'm not going to injure myself. You know, and that's the thing. These other guys, they push themselves to the point where they are hurting themselves. And they're either getting these serious injuries or they're doing the wrong things when it comes to like drugs. And you know, when you hear about a 29-year-old dying of a heart attack, that's really, really sad to see that happen.
And you know, Ron, one of my philosophies over the years has always been train to stimulate, not annihilate.
Yes.
You know, and if you follow that philosophy, as Rich was saying, you're not going to tear yourself up. You're going to know your body. And you're not going to ego train. That's what happened to a lot of guys. They ego train. You know, you got 10 plates on this side of the leg press machine, 10 on the other side. Me and Rich barely used 4 on each side. And we still develop world-class physiques. So it's all about stimulating, not annihilating. Nutrition is number one, is going to be your top deal anyway. Yeah. Training, it's really not that hard. Understand the right training philosophy, follow through with the right systems, and you'll get there. You got to be patient. It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Perfect message, guys. Be patient. Do it smart like these guys. Hopefully you'll have this kind of longevity, because this is a great example. These two gentlemen, Rich Gaspari and Lee Haney. Success and longevity and long life.
Hey, and the other thing, too, I want to emphasize, too, Ron, that what Rich and I did in the way of training systems, I've recreated that in the IAFS, my certification organization. You can go there and get a library of all of the different training form, technique, training philosophy. All of that is there now. I purposely did that to make sure that the right information is being made available to the younger athletes and to the general public.
That is IAFScertification.com. Check it out, guys. Cool. Well, thanks, guys, for taking the time. You got some fans waiting for you here, so I'll let you go. So from the Arnold Classic, this has been Ron Harris. Thank you.